So, what is the art of the deal? So, to put it pretty directly, bluntly, straightforwardly, you have Trump's brand, and that is his way of gaining access to people and to deals and things like this, where he has this brand, the shiny golden image, and then people trust him in a sense. And so, if he wants something, let's say a casino right here, and he wants to build it, and he wants to finance it. To keep the example as clear as possible, he creates a business, and then this business is going to, or the casino is going to be tied to the business. And then he asks for a loan from a bank. Excuse me. And then he hires workers to construct his casino. And he gets the bank to give him just a random number, 5 million for the casino. And then he pays a random number, 5% interest on the loan until it is repaid. And then he pays the worker 1 million, or the worker is 1 million to construct it. And so this chain goes on, of course. So the workers are going to buy equipment in boxes, which is demonstrated. Has looks like a window. And then once these are bought, the workers will then begin to start constructing the casino. And now everything seems to be running pretty smoothly. Basic business. What the bank and the workers, they don't realize is that there is no intention of sticking to the deal. So that is the art of the deal. You prepare to break the deal. And you put people into a position where they, of course, don't expect someone to just bluntly break a deal, because they assume that someone is borrowing money to construct something that they want or need. But that's not what Trump is doing. Let me see if I can draw him. What Trump does is he prepares this entire system, and then everything starts running, and the workers are already working, and they bought all the materials and hired all the extra labor and things like that, and set up the groundworks. Then he comes in and he breaks the deal. That is the art of the deal. So there's a deal, and everybody signed it. And he comes in and says, no, I'll not do that. So he says, instead of 5%, I will pay you 2.5%. And instead of paying you 1 million, I am going to pay you 750K. So everybody's already tied up in this situation. They've already hired everything. They've already spent a lot of money. So if they say no right now, things are not going to go well for them. So now everybody's already tied up in this situation. And Trump says, all right, so either we burn it all down and nobody gets anything, or you accept these terms that I have given you, which are worse than you started off, but things will still continue. If you say no, then we'll declare bankruptcy. The bank loses all of its money. The workers lose, more because they're not rich, so they're going to lose all their everything. They're going to go bankrupt as well. And so he's pressuring everybody to take a worse deal. And since life is a one-way street, you can do this here, there, over there, and then everybody starts getting old, or Trump starts getting old, and of course these people will never deal with Trump again. The banks are going to say no, the workers are going to say no, but there's more workers during this single lifetime. There's more banks. So he can keep doing this and get away with it, in a sense, for, the longest time. until everybody starts saying no. But after that, he might have some businesses that are running, or he might have a chain of bankruptcies behind him. But either way, he has now successfully swindled everybody. Now, if you take this to the global level, the country level, so you have, you have the US here, and then you have Canada to the north, and then you have Mexico to the south. You're not going to find another Mexico, you're not going to find another Canada, and that was the opposite way around. So when you burn bridges like this with everyone, as Trump has put tariffs on every country in the world almost, there's not going to be another Canada, there's not going to be another Mexico. People are going to walk off. So they might take some deals now, but they, of course, know that these deals are meant to be broken. And that is why nobody trusts the U.S. anymore. And the biggest problem about this is that there used to be this giant blob, which was the U.S., I'll just write EU, but Europe in general, then the Pacific, and this includes like Australia, the islands around the Philippines and things like that, and all the other countries. This is a huge, powerful blob that upholds this sort of stability with each other. So other players like China and Russia can try to mess around a little bit, but it's not that serious because everybody else is being, fair with each other, and they won't start to demolish this sort of stability. And that is what keeps these players in check. And then this expands to other places on the globe, because we have friends in places that might be questionable in some way with their governments and so on, but they toe the line and are friendly because of this power of the stability and the power of the stable forces. So all the enemies that these stable forces have are going to be enemies regardless. They're not really going to grab onto this sort of a functioning system. And then everybody who's friendly are going to be friendly either because it's beneficial or because they also want to be a part of this system. But the chain from, let's say, Australia through the US and Canada all the way to Europe is broken because Trump has broken it. So the new system is probably going to be a detour through Canada, hopefully, and then we are going to keep the chain as strong as possible. But it's very difficult to get from, this spot over to this spot. And this is the sort of the thing that Trump is leveraging without understanding that every part of this chain needs each other. So it's going to be very hard for the US to do anything about Russian aggression towards them and others if Europe is out. And China is going to be further away if this one is broken. So he's sort of leveraging against himself, which, does not make any sense. So that's why people are, calling him an idiot. So his followers might not be aware of this because, who is all the time aware of everything? Because this kind of stuff doesn't really get taught in schools. And this also means that all the little friendly countries that might start getting influenced by bad actors, we're going to have to start sending our own actors there no matter what, because we need to play the game. Otherwise, the influence of the bad actors is going to get out of hand. And so while Trump is playing these games, or this game that he has always done, the only conclusion is that he is either completely evil or then he is a complete buffoon, in a sense, where he doesn't know how to apply his system to anything else. He doesn't understand how the system functions. He just does it. He understands this step by step, but he doesn't understand the aftermath of it, which is that, like I said, you don't get a new Canada and you don't get a new Mexico, and you have this chain that is really important for, global stability and everything, because he doesn't really understand what he's doing. Because I think everything was given to him. If we did not have our challenges, our personal challenges in life, there would be a lot that we would not understand. Then we have a situation like this where a person can flow through life without ever having to stop and think about what they're really doing, because life is so forgiving to them. Goodbye.